Hot show, live from New York. It's the show that's promising you a top 5 all-time episode. In 5 minutes, it's First Things First today. Okay, he's not lying about the defense. Only the Ravens have given up fewer points, second best since Mahomes became the starter. So, Nick, are the Chiefs clearly? Okay. See, I like this when you're happy.
Wildes, what's the question?
Are they clearly the best team in the AFC?
Well, obviously, yes, and I'll explain why in a moment. But first, if I may do some winners and losers from the weekend.
Oh, sure.
Clearly, the biggest winner is me, who called this game almost to the exact score, while Bruce said he was confident Miami would win, and that I was tepid. That? He did. I even checked.
I don't know
tape.
that it was a fist pound or anything
you
like
said
that.
Wildes didn't have base, and that you were the only one who, quote, had your prediction with conviction. I've got Miami.
I thought that was
not only did the Chiefs win, but I laid out this exact scenario when I said, can the Chiefs win now? When we said, are they going to miss Tyreek? And I said, actually, this is the week you're going to see why they traded Tyreek. Can they win a game 21-17? I gave the Dolphins a little too much credit. And then, wouldn't you know it, the All-Pro that we drafted by trading the All-Pro Tyreek, they came to a literal head.
Yeah.
And you know what happened on that very play? Trent McDuffie, the best corner in the NFL, stripped the ball away from him. They ran it for the game-winning touchdown, and Tyreek's prophecy was proven correct. So if we may please drop Tyreek's banner. Yes, absolutely. Tyreek Hill, we have a banner. We think we do. Maybe it'll drop later. I'll tell you what it says. Tyreek gave the Chiefs that
my
word.
hardest.
You're trying your. I appreciate it, Wildes. There it is. Thank good job, Kevin Wildes. Tyreek did, in fact, give the Chiefs that word. He did. And so now,
it's hard to disagree.
Brew, here's what it comes down to: is the best team in the AFC. Do the Kansas City Chiefs have the best quarterback in the world?
Yes.
Yes.
Do the Kansas City Chiefs have, without question, a top 3, if not the number 1 coach in the world?
Yes.
Yes. Do the Kansas City Chiefs have, without question, a top 3 defense in the world?
They were doing the world because they played in
the world. Well, the international.
I know.
Yeah.
Probably top 3.
Top 3. Okay.
Yeah. Great defense.
Is there any circumstance across NFL history where a team could have a top 3 defense, the best coach, and the best quarterback in football, and not be the favorites in their own conference? Is there ever a scenario? Can you imagine if we were like, hey, Peyton Manning this year has the 3rd or 2nd best defense? How do you think his team's going to do? Aaron Rodgers this year has the number 2 scoring defense. How do you think his team's going to do? Do you think we'd be like, well, I don't know. It really is going to come down to whether or not Wayne Chrebet can make some plays for him. No, it wouldn't. And so the answer is, of course, Brew, they're the best team in the AFC. Of course.
Brady and Belichick went 10 years without winning a Super Bowl.
They didn't have the top 2
Did
defense.
they not
I looked
have
it up. Any of those
None
years,
of those
the
years?
only year they had a top 2 defense and didn't win the Super Bowl was Brady's final year. That was the only year. Every other time they had a top 2 scoring defense.
You played right into my answer.
Well, I gave you
the only year that Brady, who was arguably still the best quarterback in the world at that time, and Belichick, who was probably the best coach in the world at that time, and they had a top 2 defense, was his last year in New England?
Was his last year. They won the Super Bowl the year before. Yep.
I was on this show as a guest at that point, I'm sure, saying, get Tom Brady some weapons. That's why they couldn't get it done in the playoffs, because he didn't have the weapons. And look, everything you said about Mahomes and Reed, and the defense is phenomenal. The defense is great. All right.
Great.
I don't know if it's the best in the league. Baltimore's is tough. Cleveland's is tough. There's some good ones out there.
I think those are the 3
but they're
best.
right up
Baltimore,
there.
Cleveland,
they're right
Kansas
there.
City.
But Nick, I'm sorry, and it's nothing to do with Patrick Mahomes, who you know who I believe in. The offense is a problem.
So, but who's better? Who's better?
Well, let me. I think a lot of teams are better offensively.
No, who's the best team in the AFC?
And I'm about to tell you, but let me give you a little evidence. Yeah. All right. Number 1, you just scored your offense 14 points.
Don't care.
Against a defense that allows, on average, 25 a game.
Don't care.
They're
We gotta care a
25th.
little.
Well, yeah,
gotta
because it
care.
ain't just about the wins. This is about analysis. All right, how did it happen?
Yeah.
All right, that's the 25th best defense in the league, and you could only muster 2 touchdowns. All right, what they did was they locked up Travis Kelce. He had 3 catches. All right, 14 yards, something
14
like that.
yards.
Yeah.
Okay. And no one else could do anything. Thank God that Tyreek gave them that work.
No.
Because who knows if they would
that was
have
a
won.
forced
had
turnover.
that. No,
Yes.
that's right. The defense is fine.
Yeah.
I have no problems with that side of the ball. A week after scoring 9 against the worst defense in the league in terms of scoring, Denver, you go ahead and score 14 against Miami defense that's poor. The best team in the AFC, clearly, is the team I picked to get to the Super Bowl in the preseason. The Baltimore Ravens.
Argument.
While you guys were struggling to score multiple touchdowns against the worst defense in the league, Denver, and the 25th worst defense in the league, Miami, guess what Baltimore was doing? Putting 37 points on Seattle and holding them to
you're
3.
absolutely right.
Baltimore in the last 3 weeks, Waz, they have beaten Detroit, who you say are both of y'all say
I like
contenders for the Super Bowl,
Sure.
and Seattle, which is a good playoff team. 75-9.
But, Brew, like
how
you
can
said-
they not be ranked number 1 in the
Because
AFC
this is about
right
who
now?
you
Because they haven't won a
who
Super
you
Bowl?
trust the most.
Is it in the
You
past, or
just
we talking
said-
about right now?
Listen, you know what, Brew? I thought you might say this. Dusty, drop the Ravens banner, please.
here we go.
Because listen,
Ooh.
that one time Lamar won a playoff
Why are
game.
you taking shots at Lamar
Because
now?
if you're going to now all of us, because what Brew just told me was the reason that he
I didn't
trusts the
even mention
Ravens
Lamar.
more is their offense.
Did I mention Lamar?
What are you talking about? The Ravens?
The
you're talking about
defense is the
Ravens
best in the league.
Okay.
The defense is giving up the
Okay.
fewest points.
Right.
They
Defense
got
is the best.
But you
defense
just,
is
hold
great.
on. You just said you have no issues with Kansas City's offense, and then you didn't want a long soliloquy,
defense.
or Kansas City's defense, pardon me, about why the Ravens are the team to be believed, even though you said it's not record, they have the same record. You said it's about analysis, about what we believe is going to happen.
They've demolished 2 contenders.
So, yes, the Ravens right now
Chiefs are struggling to
the
get
Ravens
past-
right now offense are
Ravens
rolling.
all right.
You trust Lamar, so for you it's the Ravens.
No, I think Mahomes is better than Lamar. Mahomes is the best quarterback in the world, but who's he throwing it to?
Okay, so if it's not the Ravens, who
I just said it's the Ravens.
So it's the Ravens,
And
Kansas.
Cincinnati's right there. I'm watching them. Now, my pick for the AFC Championship game in the preseason was Cincinnati against Baltimore.
Dusty dropped the Bengals
So I'm
banner.
cool
I
with
thought
them.
you might say that
They
too.
tried.
They did. Listen, they did beat the Chiefs in overtime that one time. So
Actually, they're 3-1 against the
yeah,
Chiefs
those regular
with Joe Burrow.
season games meant nothing because the
Really?
Chiefs had home field
They
despite
beat
it.
the Chiefs in the playoffs and got to the Super Bowl.
Because
we didn't play
because
this.
I know
knew
we
Brew
checkmated
would
you
go
every time.
Because I knew he would go Bengals Ravens.
Those aren't
That's his
checkmates.
preseason
Kind
pick.
of.
The checkmate will come
dropping
in
bananas on your
January.
head.
The checkmate
All
will
right,
come in January.
I just want it understood. Right now, we are all in agreement
Nick
that
plays
the
dirty
Chiefs'
fool.
defense is great. And the reason that side of the table thinks they won't make the Super Bowl.
Time out.
I'm sorry.
Time.
You know who he's
I
at.
have my
corner of the table.
Yes.
My apologies.
Gee whiz.
Is because
The receivers
It's because the
got
offense
butterfingers.
won't be
That's
good
why.
enough.
No.
Okay.
It's because of your receivers.
That's-
It's not. Hold on. It's not because of the line.
Mm-hmm.
It's not because of the play calling. It's not because of the quarterback or the tight end or the running game.
Uh-huh.
It is because of your receivers who can't get open. And they got no deep threat whatsoever.
Do you remember
Was that
last
Justin
year's-
Watson trying
Bro,
to
do you
get
remember
deep?
last year's
Guys
AFC
covering
title
him
game
like a blanket?
when all the receivers got hurt and Marcus Kemp
Yeah.
was catching passes against the Bengals
you know
team?
what else? I remember Lamar was hurt too.
What? Well, that's
Yeah,
I mean,
okay.
that's
Let's talk about
Lamar's
the Dolphins.
coming.
okay. Go ahead.
Man, it's pretty much a level-headed response. He
For
called
sure.
it
He's
before
right.
the game, and I was like, yeah, I called it. Have the Dolphins been exposed, Brew?
No, because I told you
Oh, here we
a
go.
week or two ago they were a
Breakdancing.
bunch of breakdancers. I mean, really. I told you that after Philadelphia. Maybe I should have said it after Buffalo. So we knew what Miami was. A lot of style, not as much substance. Fun to watch.
Right.
I said that Miami is the type of team that when you got beef, when you got a problem, they would rather break dance, settle it with some break dancing than fighting.
Right.
The top teams in the league, and I'll give your Chiefs this credit, Philadelphia, San Francisco, they want to fight. They want to knuckle up. The Dolphins want to pop, lock, kick, worm, up rock, or whatever, all that stuff. All right, now.
Doesn't work.
They weren't exposed. I hate to say this, Tua was.
Ooh.
Yikes.
And I don't mean he's not a good quarterback, but you guys know I've been hesitant to just give him his props as a great quarterback. All right, whether it's an untimely interception.
MVP leaders at some point.
We talked about this earlier. Who's the MVP? I don't know who the heck the MVP is right now. It's just wide open. But look, at the what they did, if he doesn't get rid of that ball to the first option, then he struggles.
You throw off their
he's
time
not he's not as mobile as Mahomes and these other guys. But here's the thing: with 1:12 left, and they had a chance to win. I thought they were going to tie it up. All right. What does he do? He almost this one. I mean, Patrick Wilson. I know it's miscommunication, but it can't happen at that point. I know it happens at all quarterbacks, but this cannot happen. That's on him or the receiver. It's miscommunication. And then the next play to end the game, he just drops the snap.
Yeah.
He just drops it.
It's a weird thing. Quarterbacks playing the Chiefs in big spots.
And so those things cannot happen. And here's the other thing. Let's see this graphic about Tua. Against teams above 5 or below 500, he rocks 6-0. 320 yards a game, 16 touchdowns, 5 picks. Look at the passer rating, phenomenal. But winning teams, 0-3, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks, and a passer rating below 90.
I agree with all that, Brew. In the macro, and listen, the Dolphins off the bye are going to get Vegas, the Jets, Washington, Tennessee, and the Jets.
Yep.
They're going to be fine. They're going to win the division. I believe I know that on Friday I said, that it could get late early for one of these teams we've penciled in. If they lose this week, and I think that team's going to end up being Buffalo, not Miami. I think Miami will be fine. But if we are being fair here, and I love the player, and he's a legend for my favorite team, but the heat should go on this game to Tyreek Hill, not Tua. Tyreek Hill was the guy who was being discussed as the first wide receiver ever to win MVP.
Yep.
He did all the talking. He had his worst game of the year, and he, not Tua, made the biggest mistake of the game. Tua's mistake, the game, it was going to be Miami potentially getting at least 3 points, if not more, before the half and getting the ball. Instead, it was 21-0 at half because of Tyreek's mistake. And so, listen, he is a amazing, legendary player who also in this spot, I think, bit off a little more than he could chew for the first time all year. And if he has a great game, it goes differently. And he's the one who we hold to a higher standard than Tua. Because we don't talk about Tua like, is he the best quarterback in the league? We just all say Tyreek is the best wide receiver in the league.
No, that's fair.
All right, time to go to school with Professor Broussard.
Oh,
you've been waiting. I'll play the Eagles for the record. Brew, here's the numbers yesterday, and I'll check out the footnote. The passer rating of 115 is the highest in any career loss. So a little bit of, double-edged sword there.
In any career?
Any
of his career losses?
Yeah, which is great for a loss. So whatever you want to do with it.
Well, look, this was indeed a tape measure game.
Okay.
All right?
A tape
It was literally decided by inches.
Yes.
Okay? So, and it was a tape measure game for Dak. Okay? Now, if you guys haven't figured it out already, I'm a tough grader.
Oh, I knew that.
Yeah. I'm a tough grader. I watch all these TV shows today, and everybody's fawning over Dak.
I noticed that as well.
Right. Dak was great. Don't blame Dak. Dak showed up. Dak proved he's that guy. Okay? Look, it was condescending, and it was patronizing.
Wow.
It was a pat on the head. Oh, look at Dak. He did well. That tells me you don't expect much from him. I expect a lot from Dak.
He almost threw
and I judge, fine, they lost, okay? And I judge in context. I know Dak Prescott is in an S-Bob situation, individually and with the team, okay? So I'm holding him to a higher standard because I believe he's better. I believe Dak. I wasn't surprised that Dak played well yesterday. He's played well against the Eagles. It was a big game. He went out there.
Oh, now his history against the Eagles matters?
No,
Now
I'm just saying he played well against the Eagles in the past.
Yeah,
all right,
yeah.
and so he did it again. And I believe that he's a good quarterback. But I also want to help get him to that next level. That's what a good teacher does.
Exactly.
Get to the next
So what's his
level.
grade?
Okay, and that's what I want to help him do. Now here's why he fell this much short of an A. Dusty, let's see what happens.
Okay.
Now, this play, everybody's going, it's just bad luck. It's inches. Schoonmaker didn't make it into the end zone. But really, look, Brandon Cooks runs the same pattern as Schoonmaker, wide open in the middle of the field. You got to hit him. This is why the tape measure is out, because that type of thing changes games. When you're playing an elite team that's just as good as you or better, you got to make these plays. You make that easy pass. Guess what? We're having a whole different conversation.
Right.
Wide open. Nobody within 10 feet of him.
Same
Then
play.
here's one, 4th and 8. He goes to Jalen Tolbert, who's covered like a blanket by Bradbury. Look where he should have gone. Look at Ferguson, who was having a great game. Jake Ferguson. Look at him, wide open. Past the first down line. Again, in big games like this matters. You get away with that against the Giants and against Wild's Patriots, but you can't get away with that against Philadelphia and San Francisco. And those are the things. Now, Dak predetermined both of those plays. Here's where I'm going. Because he saw they had the safety moved over with the two receivers. It was Ferguson and CeeDee Lamb. So he said, I'm going to Tolbert on the opposite side. And at the end zone, he didn't even look at Cooks. He predetermined whether to read in the play. That's why I can't give him an A+. But what I can give him, because he was good. I'm not going to take away from Dak. He was good. A B+.
Oh.
He gets a B+.
All right.
Okay. I thought we were going to come down
No,
harder.
he
All right.
did well,
Can
but I'm trying to get him to the next
right,
level.
that's
fair.
I'm not going to insult him with moral victories and undeserved A's in a loss.
Listen, was he the best player on the field yesterday?
A lot of mistakes on that field.
Was he the best player on the field, Wildes? Because I know you're a quarterback wins guy, so I want to put, as Doyle Brunson would say, I want to put a man to a decision.
Sure. He did not do enough to win. So
was there anyone that played yesterday that was better than Dak Prescott?
You know, it's a team sport. And I would say Jalen Hurts.
You could argue Jalen.
No, you
he doesn't have
Jalen's
really?
out there on
the
one
dime,
leg.
Thank
No,
you,
you could-
Wild.
hold on. No,
the
you
dime
could-
he
you could
threw
say that Jalen was more
Devontae Smith.
Heroic's too strong of a word. Courageous.
Sure.
But Jalen did not play better than Dak.
The dime he threw to Devontae Smith.
And Dak threw
How
a
many
half
touchdowns
dozen dimes to CeeDee Lamb.
He played well, but
He was great. I'm just saying you could argue.
Okay,
it.
this
Did
is
Jalen?
where
Can I answer your question? Did Jalen make a mistake that changed the course of the game,
yes,
like
he's
Dak
just lucky that
stepping
it
out?
didn't. The fumbles.
Okay,
The
well, they picked
fumbles.
him up, granted.
He didn't even pick him up.
Well, they
That's not-
fumbled
I
the
mean,
ball
that's-
3 times. They got him.
Yeah.
But Dak stepping out here, that changes the game. And everyone's like, well, it's not
No,
curling.
I agree.
You don't get credit for being close. And like,
I agreed. And
How
off the
close he
top
was.
of
It
the
was just
show,
this far.
off the top of the show, A+ was overstating it. I wouldn't have given an A+. I would have given him an A. You're right. He didn't play a perfect game, but he was the best player on the field for either team. And I will take it a step further. All right, take out Patrick Mahomes, take out Lamar Jackson, and just because I don't want to argue about it, even though I think I could make a strong argument against it, take out Jalen Hurts. Is there any quarterback this season that is hands down start to finish this year been better than Dak?
Put all those qualifiers. Joe Burrow's better.
No.
Period. And he's been better the last few weeks.
Hold on.
Dak's played well, but
This year.
we know Burrow's been hurt.
I got it.
Look,
I'm not, these are different. These are different conversations about who you would want and all these types of things. I'm asking, if you were asked this question right now, rank the quarterbacks based on their performance. We are at the exact midway point of the season. Would Dak, by anyone's metric, finish in the top 5? by anyone's metric based on how they played this year.
Be.
Is he discussed at all like that? Or is he discussed like he is the reason this team loses? When yesterday, he was the only reason this team was in the game.
Stop it.
What?
The only reason they were...
He
He
threw
played
for
great.
400 yards.
He played great. The only reason?
Did
Come
you think?
on.
He
wasn't the only reason.
So why was Dallas
the
in
defense
game?
was solid.
You thought the defense played great yesterday?
Not great, but I thought they helped keep him in the game.
What's the biggest?
Dak played. Dak was great.
Okay,
He
well,
was
there
the
you go.
best Cowboy.
Okay, fine.
He
He
got
played
a B plus. What do you
He got a
want?
B plus.
Okay. All right, that's fine.
I
Got a
mean,
B plus.
Dak gets his love.
It's fine.
He does?
Yeah.
A B
Where?
plus is good. It's an 88.
I'm not just talking
Where?
about, I just told you today. I saw a bunch of people fawning on TV about how great he was.
That's
Well, I
true.
don't watch those shows.
I
didn't see him
I
getting
watch,
crushed.
I watch our show and poker reruns, so I'm not certain what else is being said. I just
Ask
know
your
you
poker
guys.
buddies. They
He
probably love
played
you.
well enough to almost win. Congratulations.
I think
That's what
quarterback
actually
wins are so-
happened.
I
He played
understand.
well enough to almost
But
win.
that's why the quarterback win stuff is so maddening. Is because if you go, you can go up and down the list of the football games this weekend, college and pro.
Yeah.
And if you just are going to base how well the quarterback played based on did his team win or lose, you are, in my opinion, missing the plot.
You're oversimplifying.
No, I might be oversimplifying your analysis. I do not think I'm oversimplifying Wildes'.
Did Patrick Mahomes play well?
What?
Yesterday? Did Patrick Mahomes?
Yes.
Yeah, because he doesn't lose back-to-back games, right? He scored 14
'Cause they
points.
won.
But you know what?
Right.
He won. He
Threw for
played great.
185 yards.
When we look at the careers, like how much did Tom Brady win? He's a winner.
Hold on.
That's how
There
it works.
is a. Do you not think there is a distinction between a quarterback's being able to, if he wins, being somewhat immune from criticism, which is I think what you're
course,
doing,
yes.
and a quarterback, even if he loses, being able to say he had a great game? How did Jalen Hurts
He
do
did
in the
have a
Super
great
Bowl?
game.
He had a great game.
Yeah.
Some people were saying he outplayed Mahomes.
We pointed out that he made the fumble that changed the game.
But Dak didn't do something like that. Dak didn't have a turnover that went
Dak
for the other
stepped
side.
out of bounds on a 2-point conversion. It was an unforced error that cost him the game.
Dak could have clocked the ball at the end of that. I guess that's controversial, but he could have clocked the ball. And their clock management, we'll get to that, was horrendous.
He played
at the end
fine.
of the
He
game.
played. That's a
He was
perfect
good.
grade. It was an 88.
Right.
Congratulations.
It was good.
It's not good enough to
I
win.
feel like people expected him to spit the bit.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.